some preparation to show you on the safety demonstration and the CPR demonstration. The reason behind this particular activity, trying to be a stunt performer, and we have also seen many fatal accidents where we have lost life due to irresponsible stunt performances. There are many aspirants who would like to be a stunt performer, but there is a responsible way to achieve that. So we just wanted to let you know that there may be fatalities, but there are also ways how we can prevent them. And we know that riding involves a lot of risk, and if there are any issues, if you are a fellow biker or if you see one of your fellow biker is in such a situation, you should be in a position to rescue them. For that also we need the first aid, we need the safety aspects that you should be aware of, and that is the whole point behind partnering with Sparsh Hospital to come up with safety demonstration and also the CPR training. So I thank all the people who are here today to witness this safety training. Safety demonstration and the CPR demonstration. Well, I hate to start the show with this statistic, but unfortunately, India is ranking first in number of road accidents across 199 countries in the world, and our road accidents account almost 11% of fatal deaths. But that's the reason, it's also because of the safe riding and responsible riding that we want to promote this show, and that is the reason we partnered with SS Sparsh Hospital, and today we have Dr. Devendra Nayak sir here with us, who would be taking us through the demonstration. I request you to kindly speak a few words and take over.
Thank you. Good evening. Yeah, next couple of minutes I'll go through the CPR demonstration, cardiopulmonary resuscitation or basic life support. Following that, I'll show how we extricate helmet when somebody meets with an accident, and followed by if you have a suspected fracture, how do you treat or a first aid procedure. Okay. Okay. So when you say basic life support or CPR, this comes into picture when we have a person suddenly collapsing. That means the person has cardiac arrest. When you say cardiac arrest, the heart, which is a pump, is stopped beating. Okay? That is when the person becomes unresponsive and stops breathing. This is when you start the CPR. Okay? Two things. Unresponsive, not breathing is cardiac arrest for a common man. Okay, no confusion. Unresponsive and not breathing is a cardiac arrest. So what you do is just check for the responsiveness, check for the breathing, call for help and start CPR. That is all you are supposed to do in a case of sudden collapsing. Okay, so that is cardiac arrest. So how do you go about this? Okay, see, one of the commonest causes in the world, the commonest cause of sudden death is the cardiac arrest. Okay? As a bystander, if you can start CPR early, as quickly as possible, there are chances and a better chance of recovery, not only recovery, the neurological recovery. Okay? So this is what we call as bystander CPR. Okay. Right. No. Okay. So normally if somebody collapses, he'll be on the floor. So it is easier for you to kneel down by the side of the victim and then start assessing. The first thing is scene safety, and the next unresponsiveness. So check for responsiveness. Okay. Hello, are you okay? If he is responding, that means he is responding and he is not responsive. So you just go above. So if he is not responding, the next step is to check for breathing. How do we check for breathing? Go near, open the dress and look for chest rise and fall. Chest movement is to look for breathing. So unresponsive, not breathing, you call for help, call for the ambulance or call for the hospital staff and start CPR. Right? So all these years we have been taught as any emergency it is ABC, airway, breathing, circulation. But as the days progress, years progress, they have studied that the chest compression is more important than giving a breath. So the sequence they have changed to CAB, compression, chest compression, airway, and then breathing. So first priority goes to chest compression. Okay. So how do we do this? So you kneel down by the side of the victim. Kneel down by the side of the victim. Open the dress, and at the level of the nipple, keep heel of one hand in the midline at the level of the nipple. Keep the other hand on the top. Lock. Raise your fingers. Lock. Then lock your elbows and then give the compression. Okay. This is how you give at a rate of 100 to 120 per minute. But you will be giving only 30 at a time. 30 compressions, 2 breaths. 30 is the ratio for all. So 30 compressions, 2 breaths. The rate is important. 100 to 120 per minute and 2 breaths. And the depth is also important. Our idea is the heart has stopped beating. Now we are mechanically compressing it so that some pure blood is pushed to the vital organs. That is our intention. So depth 2 to 2.5 inches. Okay? So that is the idea behind this. So you are given 30 compressions. Next is, this is C of the CAB sequence. Next is airway. See, anybody who is unresponsive, lying flat like this, the tongue falls back and obstructs the airway. So what you have to do is 2 maneuvers. One is head tilt, chin lift. Head tilt, chin lift opens the upper airway and you can give the breath. So what you do is tilt the head, pinch the nostril, chin lift, take a normal breath, blow into the mouth. Blow into the mouth, look at the chest rise. Okay? Take a normal breath, head tilt, pinch the nostril, chin lift, blow into the mouth, mouth to mouth breathing. Look for the chest rise. So 2 breaths, each breath over 1 second, 2 breaths. Then come back and continue the compression. So 30:2 is the ratio to be followed. Right? Okay, and this cycle continues till you get a help. Till you get a help or the ambulance arrives. Till then you are going to continue this. This is C, chest compression, airway, breathing. This is how we conduct a CPR. Okay? In hospital, we don't go for mouth to mouth. We use this bag and mask ventilation. Only difference in children less than 1 year is the compression will be given with 2 fingers at the level of the nipples like this. This is the way you compress in children less than 1 year, infants. Okay? That is the CPR how we do. Okay. So the next important thing is when somebody meets with an accident with the helmets on, if the victim is unresponsive, how do we remove the helmet? For that matter, a major trauma where patient is unresponsive, we consider that there is neck injury, cervical spine injury, which is very, very important when a trauma victim has cervical spine injury. If there is a fracture and compression, he can be awake, talking, can be paralyzed all 4 limbs. This is worst scenario. So if you have a trauma victim, it is always important to keep the head and neck stable, not to move any way. So while removing the helmet, this is the mistake, common mistake we do. While removing the helmet, we move the neck, which is not to be done. So I'll show you how we do it. There are two things we have to notice. One is manual inline stabilization, how we stabilize the neck, and other one is triple immobilization. Okay. This is called manual inline stabilization. Your hands underneath the shoulder blade, okay, and the forearm holding the head. So there should not be any movement at the head and neck level. So if you are shifting also, this is the way you have to shift a trauma victim. Here our idea is not to move the head and neck. So keep your hands underneath the shoulder blade, forearms against the ears, pressing against the ears so that there is no movement, and you shift the victim like this. This is manual inline stabilization. That is what we use when removing the helmet. Okay? While removing the helmet, what we do is the person on this side will hold, stabilize the neck like this with your hand underneath the neck and the occiput. Thumbs will be supporting the ankle, and then the second person will remove the helmet slowly. This is how we do. So that absolutely no movement at the neck level. That is how we remove the helmet, then apply the other hand, shift the victim. While shifting, again you maintain this manual inline stabilization. Okay? That's how we do. That is one thing. In case if you are suspecting a fracture, okay. So our idea is to splint the limb. Anything little harder available. If you don't have the splint or anything, any wooden plank, a rod, or even rolled newspaper or a magazine, that will also be sufficient to keep as a splint. Then the simple way is you have a towel or something, make it in a triangular shape, put a knot here, and okay, put a knot here so that holds here, and then take one around the neck like this, put a knot, and you can shift the victim to the hospital. So the next step we will take care. Okay, this is as a first aid what you can do as a standard. This much you can do. Okay, that is one thing. And for the leg again, if you have any wooden plank or anything for the fractured leg, you can use this. If you don't have any splint, you use the normal limb as splint, bandage it, support, and then shift the victim to the hospital. Our idea is not to move that fractured limb. Okay, that's all. Yeah. I think that's all about the CPR and trauma victim first aid. Okay? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Naik. This is helpful. Just one question,
Yeah.
to the audience for Q&A. As Thank you. As bikers, when we tend to go on long rides, carrying a lot of baggage, especially aids like this, is a bit of a challenge. It's an impediment. So what do you think is the bare minimum a biker should carry when they go on a ride? We saw the way you immobilize the shoulder, but in terms of first aid for, let's say, bruises, cuts, what is the bare minimum a biker should carry so that they still have enough in them to get to the nearest first aid unit or hospital?
bare minimum first aid, uh, bandage roll, bandage roll, some disinfectant to clean the wound, bandage roll, and a plaster. That should be sufficient. If possible, with a splint. Splint and bandage roll should be sufficient. Or else, as I showed, a simple towel. That will also be okay. Yeah. Nothing. Oral. Okay. Uh, yeah. See, bleeding, best thing is to put pressure on the wound, keep the pressure. All of us do this, but the mistake we do is every minute we try to open and see whether it is stopped. So don't do that. Keep the pressure continuously for 10 minutes. Large wound is difficult. Only thing is pressure bandage. Put some cottons or clean cloth, tight bandage over there. 10 minutes continuous pressure will stop the bleeding. Those things, you can't do much. Correct. You can't do much. Only thing is pressure bandage and shift. Splint, pressure bandage and shift. Pressure bandage. Pressure bandage alone. Nothing else you can do at the site.
Another thing that we see, doctor, is
Bollywood movies, and CPR is, definitely misrepresented in most of the Bollywood movies. It is often, I'm so sorry to take this term, but often it is mistaken for a French kiss. So I'm so sorry, but how do we make the interpretation right? How do the Indian stigma will go out of CPR and think that this is a life-saving act and nothing beyond?
You all listen to the professionals like us. That is the right way. Yeah, I think frequent demo training, the CPR is the only way. Instead of listening or seeing what is done in the movie, it's better to listen to the professionals in the right way. That's the only way I feel.
any other last questions from our audience? I think some very insightful information from Dr. Nayak. Thank you so much again. Anybody else have any questions about emergency first aid, trauma care in the eventuality of a bike accident? Okay, the Sparsh team is here for a little bit longer, and you all know where Sparsh Hospital is. So please feel free to drop in and ask any questions that you may have. Thank you so much, doctor. Thank you so much, your team as well. Really appreciate you taking the time to come here today. Thank you. Are we ready for the stunt show? All right. Arguably one of the highlights of Moto Mania. We have Team Balance Point here joining us for the stunt show. And we have some very expert riders. We have Rafi and Aftab. Rafi, Aftab. This is going to be very, very exciting, but please keep a distance from the barricade. Make sure your children don't put their hands or try and get through the barricades. Okay? All right? Ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go! Please don't try that at home. Let's cheer our stunt riders. Come on, everybody. Round of applause for the fantastic Rafi and Aftab, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want some more? I didn't hear you all. Do you want some more? Do you really want some more? All right, that's better. The stunt riders will take a very short 5-minute break to replenish themselves, give the bikes a bit of rest. Stay right here. We're going to be back in less than 5 minutes. Speak to the riders here after the event to understand what sort of records they've shattered across the world, across Asia and in our own country. After the stunt show, they'll be available for all of you to interact and get to know them better. Let's bring in some energy! All right.
Brother Spikes.
Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Rafi and Aftab. Needless to say, everybody here has a lot of questions. I've been screaming so hard, my voice is hoarse, right? But we'd all like to understand, how did you become stunt riders?
Actually, our career started in 2007. So, we are the oldest stunt riding team in Bangalore. And he's the one who started it first, Rafi.
Round of applause for Rafi.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ. ನಾವು ಟೀಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಏಷ್ಯಾ ಬುಕ್ ಆಫ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಬುಕ್ ಆಫ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಆರ್ಮಿಗೆ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗು ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷ್ನಲ್ ಸ್ಟಂಟ್ ರೈಡರು. ತುಂಬ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸು ನಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಬಂದು ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ. ಸೊ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೂವಿ ನಾವು 25 ಮೂವೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ TVS ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸರ್ 10 ಇಯರ್ಸಿಂದ ಅವ್ರ ಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸರ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ತುಂಬ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸು, ನೀವು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಜಾಗ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲಾಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್.
Thank you, Rafi. Aftab? ಸೊ ಇದು ನೀವು ಸ್ಟಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ರಫಿ, ಅಫ್ತಾಬ್, ನೀವು ಸ್ಟಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ವಂಶಿ, ಇದು ಫುಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬರೀ ಹಾಬಿ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು?
ಪ್ಯಾಷನ್ ಕಮ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್. ಸೊ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ ವಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ವೀಲೀಸ್. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಆರ್ ಲೀಡರ್ ರಫಿ. ಸೊ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಸೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಮ್ ವಿ ಬೋತ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ಡ್. Then after all this happened, and we have one more main pillar in our team. His name is Zaid Hussain. He's not present here right now, but he's one who is the reason to form a team. And ours is the oldest team in Bangalore, and we are official stunt riders for TVS company. And what all advertises you watch in the TV, we do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
TVS motorcycle ad. The TVS motorcycle ads. Awesome. Yeah. And a lot of people here, how many of you want to become stunt riders? Chirag bhai, anybody? Only one? Prahlad sir. Okay, all of you, show of hands. How many of you want to become stunt riders after today? Right. So you have a lot of people interested to become stunt riders. What would be your advice to them? How do they start? How do they learn?
ಯಾರೇ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೂ ಸೇಫ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್ಡ್ ಲೊಕೇಶನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೋರ್ ಓವರ್ ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಗೇರ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. Without safety gears, it is not called as stunt riding. So they have a separate name for it. So please don't do it on the roads and don't perform on the roads without any safety gears. Thank you.
So safety is of utmost importance, and that's the theme throughout the day. Please make sure that you have the right gear. You are obviously a qualified professional, and you do it in the right place. Anything else, Vamshi? All right. Any questions from the audience? Last questions. Yes, sir. Girish.
Yeah, thank you for this. This was really amazing. But I just want to request everyone, also ask them to tell that not to try this here at home. I know they are professionals and they have practiced it a lot to do this. So I don't want somebody to do this here. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Girish. Words of advice from our own very resident Mr. Girish. Please don't try this at home. Somebody else here had a question. Last question. Yes.
My name is Clementina. Actually, my question is, do you have any academy for this to learn and all?
Vamshi.
Yeah. Sir, do you have any academy for this, for learning?
ಇವಾಗ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಬೈಕಿಂಗಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾರೂ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ವಿ ಆರ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ವೆರಿ ಸೂನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್. ಅದೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ರೆಡಿ. ಸೊ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಯು ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ ಟಚ್ ವಿತ್ ಅಸ್. ಫಾಲೋ ಟೀಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಗ್ರಾಮ್. ಟೀಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್.
Anybody interested to know more, follow Team Balance Point on Instagram. All the information is available there. She will provide all the answers that you're looking for. All right. Can we have a round of applause for Team Balance Point? Louder!
Good evening, PBTB. Are you excited so far? Awesome. Lovely to hear that noise. So we have ample of other activities lined up for you to ensure that we will have responsible and safe driving and riding. So the core objective behind this entire show, entire event is to promote our own bikers in the community and to promote safe and responsible riding. So we have many other activities coming in. So PBTB Moto Mania presented by Prama Cars, your neighborhood car experts, and We Sense Nature Private Limited, who are the producers of, manufacturers of natural essential oils. So at this point in time, I would request two of these major sponsors to kindly come on to the stage and speak about the offerings they have to our lovely residents here. So I request Mr. Praveen from Prama Cars to kindly come over to the stage and speak a few words. Praveen, can we have you here? ಪ್ರವೀಣ್ ಅವರು ಈಗ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಪ್ರಾಮಾ ಕಾರ್ದು ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು. ಬಹುಶಃ ಸುಮಾರಷ್ಟು ಜನರು ಹೋಗಿ ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ. ನೀವು ಎಂಜಿನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಗೇರ್ ಹಾಕಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣವೇ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ವರ್ಕ್ಶಾಪ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಒಂದು ಸದಾವಕಾಶನ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸದುಪಯೋಗ ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಈಗ ಪ್ರವೀಣ್ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪ್ರವೀಣ್ ಅವರೇ ಬನ್ನಿ. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಪ್ರಾಮಾ ಕಾರ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನೇನು ಆಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನ ಆಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ.
ಹಾಯ್ ಎವ್ರಿವನ್, ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು ಪ್ರಮಾ ಕಾರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಒಂದು 1/2 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಹೋದ್ರೂ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಪ್ರಮಾ ಕಾರ್ಸು. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನಾವು ಬಂದಿರೋದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಪ್ರೈಸಿಂಗು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನೀವು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮದು 40% ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ವಿತ್ ಜೆನ್ಯೂನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಒಂದು 30% ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ 1 ಇಯರ್ ಆಯಿತು ನಮ್ಮದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಈ ಇವೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ನಂಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ರಿಷಿ ಮತ್ತು ಶಿವು ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಾರ್ತಿಕ್. ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ ಬನ್ನಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೂ. ಓಕೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಟೀಜ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ 30% ಲೇಬರ್ ಆಫರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ಗೂ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್. ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Thank you so much, Praveen. That is definitely a good brownie, because I'm sure, most of you would have some of the other services, not just car wash, not just repair, not just a dent removal. It is not restricted to any specific services, but whole lot of services. Whatever services you have, you can get it done at 50% off on the labor cost. So ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶನ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರು ಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸರ್ ಆದಂತಹ ಇನ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ವಿತ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ಡ್ ವಿ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಅವರು ಇದ್ದರೆ ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ವಿಷ್ಣು ಪ್ರಿಯಾರ್ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ವೇದಿಕೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ವಿಷ್ಣು ಪ್ರಿಯಾ, ಐ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಟು ಕೈಂಡ್ಲಿ ಕಮ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್. to kindly speak on VSense Nature Private Limited and your exclusive essential oils. All right, I think she's not here amongst us today. Nevertheless, I just would like to brief about VSense Nature Private Limited. So you will get exotic essential oils which are pure, naturally sourced by the organic farmers across the country, even across the globe. So any bet that, you know, if you are looking out for a pure essential oil, here is the shop that you can get in touch with. We Care Essential Oils. And fortunately, she's a resident of PBTB, so she's just, you know, phone away. It will be delivered at your doorstep too. The show is going to start in another 10 minutes. So I'll just give you a hint of what is coming through. You will be surprised to know we have so many super bikers in our own community. So ಯಾವಾಗ ನೀವು ಸೌಂಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಏನಪ್ಪ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಲೌಡ್ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ, ಯಾವುದಿದು ಬೈಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ನಮಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿನಲ್ಲೇ ಸುಮಾರು 10ಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸೂಪರ್ ಬೈಕರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. So those who can't understand Kannada, I'll just repeat that in English. So we have close to 10 or more super bikers in our own community. So we are so blessed that, you know, we are proud owners of super bikes in Bangalore, one of the communities, definitely. So we would like to display all those super bikes right in front of you here. So all our super bikers are getting ready with their bikes just downstage so that they can present it to you. So that is taking a bit of time for them to arrange the bikes. That will be done in a moment. Meanwhile, I thought I'll just keep you engaged with few questions. So just wanted to understand, I'm so happy first of all to see such a large crowd when it is a motoring event, and we could see lovely ladies out there and all the children out there, both boys and girls who have come to the event. So I just would like to engage you with few questions.
Sequence to get ready. Are you all having a good time? We can't hear you. Are you having a good time? All right. That sounds more like it. It sounds like you had a nice Sunday lunch and a nap. Good. Thank you for joining us. Sorry for the interruption. So, ladies, gentlemen, and children, before we get started, a few housekeeping rules. We understand that the space is a bit of a constraint. We love to accommodate all of you. But please do not come forward. There'll be a lot of bikes that are parked here. Please don't come into the staging area to take selfies with a bike. It's not a good idea because these bikes will be hot, the silencers will be hot, and they'll all be parked on the side stands. We don't want the bike toppling over on any of you. Second, there's a reason that we're requesting all of you to leave the first 2 rows empty because there'll be our chief guests who will be joining us on the first 2 rows. We will also be setting off some sort of brief fireworks when the bikes come in. So please ensure that nobody sits in the first 2 rows so that we don't have any challenges with these later on. Thank you so much for understanding. Okay, here's a question, right? Anybody who has to answer, please raise your hand. Don't shout the answer at me because I won't know who has answered. And we have surprise prizes for all the right answers, right? So we'll identify the winners and give you all the gifts later. So I'm going to name 4 two-wheeler categories. You will have to tell me which of these is not a motorcycle. Okay? I'm going to name 4 two-wheeler categories. You'll have to tell me, please raise your hand and I'll point the person out. Please tell me which of these is not a motorcycle category. Okay? The first, off-roader. The second, street. The third, scooter. And the fourth, Vespa. Show of hands, who has answers? If you give a wrong answer, you have to dance on the stage. Okay, no shouting. You in the red, yes, please. What's your name? Yasha, yes. Which of these is not a motorcycle?
The first one. I forgot.
Anybody else?
Scooter. Only one. Vespa.
That's right. We got the answers. We got the answers. Next question. Vespa and scooter are not motorcycling categories. That's the right answer. These two girls here, please keep a note. Gifts later on for them. Okay. Hands down, hands down. Bhavik, hands down. Question's over. Right. Second question. Right. Which of these is not an Indian company? Which of these companies that manufactures motorcycles is not an Indian company? First, Royal Enfield. Second, I'm not finished the question. First, Royal Enfield. Second, Bajaj. Third, Triumph Motorcycles. Fourth, Harley Davidson. Which of these are not Indian companies? Let me go to the back. Ma'am, yes, you in yellow. You. Yes, you.
Harley Davidson. Okay.
It's Triumph and Harley Davidson. They are not Indian bikes.
Round of applause for Mani sir. Yes, Triumph and Harley Davidson are not Indian automotive OEMs that manufacture motorcycles. You will get your turn. We have a lot of questions. We have a special children's quiz as well later on. You get your turn. Yes, the next question. The third question. How many of you watch movies here? Okay, let me ask the question in a different way. How many of you don't watch movies here? Anybody here doesn't watch movies? Paresh, you don't watch movies? Can you please stand? Okay, round of applause for our friend who doesn't watch movies. Okay, so this question is for you. Only for you, nobody else answers, right? Which bike does Katrina Kaif ride in Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara? I thought you didn't watch movies. Oh, okay, nicely done. That's right. Royal Enfield it is. Katrina Kaif rides a Royal Enfield in Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. Even people who don't watch movies seem to know the answer to that. That's a good one. Once again, I'd like to welcome you all to PBTB Moto Mania, organized by our very own PBTB Bikers Club, of which most people in the audience here are enthusiastic members of. As is evident by the number of people that are gathered here today and the people who joined us in the rally this morning, biking, motorcycling normally attracts a lot of enthusiasm and interest from various sections of our community. But the real challenge starts there. A lot of people are interested, are enthusiastic, but don't really know what to do after that. There are a lot of questions around what is the right bike to ride? What kind of motorcycle should I be considering if I'm an amateur? If I want to do off-roading, if I want to use for hybrid purposes, street as well as off-roading, what is the right kind of bike that I need to invest in? More importantly, what is the right kind of safety gear and equipment I need to own? So there are a lot of questions that people have, and it often becomes a big concern when these questions are not answered and the enthusiasm in motorcycling gradually decreases. Thankfully, through Moto Mania and successive events that our PBTB Bikers Club will conduct throughout this year and in the coming years. We hope to demystify motorcycling as a culture, make it more inclusive. We'd love to see a lot more lady riders join us as core members of our motorcycling club. And we have a couple of very accomplished lady riders who are joining us as our guests of honor today as well. You'll hear more from them later in the day. And motorcycling should be equally accessible to anybody who's interested, regardless of what's your background, your gender, or your age. Now, if you think of conventional, typical motorcycling, right, isn't this the normal image that you have in mind? Right? There's a person wearing a leather jacket sitting on a big black motorcycle, and that's motorcycling, right? But thankfully for us, shattering the proverbial glass ceiling here today, I am thrilled to welcome our very own co-host, Lakshmi.
आज हम 2 किलोमीटर ज़्यादा भागेंगे।
कुछ करिए नस नस मेरी खोले हाय कुछ करिए
Welcome, Lakshmi. How is the ride?
Thanks a lot, Kishore. It was wonderful, and thank you so much for those lovely words. And what I am is just what you saw here. I'm nothing beyond that. I just drive a little bit just to get my groceries. But otherwise, I'm just not a rider. We have two lovely ladies here with us today, and they are the real riders who's going to inspire all the women riders or aspiring women riders here in the community. You will get to know them soon. And we also have an amazing internet sensation here, a male rider. And I'm sure he's been inspiring many souls already, and he's going to do more in the community today as well. So I welcome all our chief guests to the show. They have been seated in the front row.
So, thank you, Lakshmi. A warm welcome to all of you again, and our guests of honor included. Tell us, what inspired you to pick up motorcycling or bike riding?
I just picked up riding as such. I'm not a rider yet, I can't claim. But what made me, what inspired me to get into motorcycling is definitely my mom, because she's been into women's rights activism from a quite long time, and she's running an organization. So I have been a campaigner of women's voice from the beginning. So this is something I always wanted to pursue, and I'm behind it, still chasing.
Fantastic. A round of applause for Lakshmi and her inspiration here.
So, as I mentioned, now you will be getting to see the different super bikes that we have in our own community. You will be amazed to look at the collections we have, I'm sure. Due to some technical difficulties, one of the bikes which was supposed to be the show stealer, unable to make it. However, at the last moment, we may have to give you a surprise with that. But definitely, to start with, you can just see the kind of collections we have. This is, can I have the slide please for the audience? This is Triumph Tiger. So, you can see the basics. Woo! Here is Rishi, the proud owner of this amazing mountain. I would say this is Triumph Tiger is one of the major attractions in our community. Not just the bike, even the owner, Rishi. So he's one of the fittest young chaps in the community, and definitely one of the most eligible bachelors. That was amazing. Thank you so much. May I request you to kindly stand towards your left of the bike with your helmet off, please? Thank you. Upcoming is BMW 310. Woo! So the proud owner of BMW 310 is Mr. Sachin, and you can see the specifications of the bike here. Made in Germany and India. Here we go, Sachin, to the ramp. So we have 34 bhp power, 28 Nm torque. Engine is single cylinder with 13 cc. Rest of it you can just go through. But Sachin is one of the active members of biking group. We'll be just explaining you some of the thrilling rides that we have had together. So thank you so much, Sachin. The upcoming one is Yamaha MT-09. So this is the dark side of Japan, now the dark side of India. And the proud owner is... And the proud owner of Yamaha MT-09 is none other than Shiva. The Shivamani of PBTB, the drummer. I'll tell you something about Shiva. He is passionate about whatever he chooses, whether it is music, machine, everything. I know very well about him because we both started as partners in crime, and then we became life partners. Then I realized I actually committed a crime. So, you know, I'm in lifetime imprisonment now as a punishment. So, he's my husband, by the way. Thank you, Shiva. Please take out your helmet. All right, upcoming is a Harley Street Bob. Can I have the slide, please? Yeah, here you go. So, I'm sure there'll be many people who are fans of Harley Davidson here. So, here we go. It has 1,868 cc engine, definitely the powerful, and the origin, you know, USA. So Harley has a very unique background. Earlier, this is the bike which were used by thugs, but I'm sure the proud owner of this bike, Mr. Ramesh, is definitely not a thug. He is one of the gentlemen we have in the community. So, the proud owner of Harley Street Bob is Mr. Ramesh. Ramesh, can I just request you to kindly get off and remove your helmet and show yourself to the crowd, please. Next one is going to really steal your hearts. We have Triumph Rocket. Woo! Rocket is definitely a showstopper. We wanted to, but due to the constraints, we couldn't. Look at the sexy beast, man! Look at the sexy beast! Woo! So the proud owner of Triumph Rocket is Mr. Anuj Yadav. Unfortunately, he's not with us today. However, Mr. Shiv Kumar is assisting us to bring the rocket in front of you today. So, I'm sure there would be many people who would be aiming to own this one. Woo! Come on. Right, thank you so much, Shiva. Can I have the next slide, please? Next coming is Ducati Scrambler. Woo! Ducati Scrambler. You can see the specification made in Italy. You can see the Italian quality definitely there. And the Scrambler is being driven by none other than our own Rishi. Sorry. Karthik, I couldn't see it. There's something really special about Karthik that I want to mention here. The program is happening mainly because of bunch of people, including Karthik. So Karthik, one of our rides, I just want to give you a brief background. One of our rides, when we had been to Chikmagalur, we often go for rides from the biking group. And when we had been to Chikmagalur, Shiva, Mr. Vinod and Karthik just thought of a show where they can, come up with an awareness on safety and maintenance. Just that. But now the show has conceived into something really big where we have the stunt show, we have, several partnerships with the hospital to give you a safety session. Now upcoming sessions, a music gig. So, and amazing chief guest that who were ready to be part of the program pro bono. I must mention this. So this is something, conceived at Karthik's end. So thanks to Karthik from that point of view. And he is the man behind all the posters and the videos that you have been seeing and which inspired you to be here today. So thank you, Karthik. Now we have Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. Can I have the next slide, please? So I'm sure as we have Hog fans here, Harley Davidson fans, we also have Royal Enfield fans. So that is being driven by and owned by none other than our own Karthik, who is my co-host today. Because it's Ari, Royal Enfield, we have the Alisha song going on. Made in India, obviously. So this is our proud production from India. You can see the specifications of Interceptor here. Anybody who would like to start with a biking, just shifting from a normal, maybe 250cc to something little bigger, they opt for Interceptor. Most of people can choose one as your choice. So thanks a lot, Karthik. All the riders, can I just request you to get off the bike and just pose with your helmets towards your left hand side, please. The next is Kawasaki versus. So Kawasaki, definitely, anybody who would like it more sporty would definitely go for Kawasaki and so we have Kawasaki versus here. That is being driven by none other than our own captain of the ship, Mr. Vinod. So, I must say this. Vinod and Pavitra are such amazing riding pairs that they just go to long distances just like that, like just a cakewalk. So thank you, Mr. Vinod. Now since
Last but not the least.
Yes.
Last but not the least, and many more to come hopefully, we have a Benelli TRK ridden by Vivek, Vinod's younger brother, who's graciously accepted our invite to be a part of the event here. The Benelli TRK 502, spectacular bike, very capable for adventure touring and mild off-roading as well. And the specs are here in front of you. So all the superbike riders that you see here today are going to be a part of the audience. Feel free to mingle, ask all the questions that you want. Can I request all the bike riders to please come and stand next to your machines? All of you. Vivek, Vinod, Sachin. Can we have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for these fantastic machines? Trans-Daimler, BMW 310, Yamaha MP, Harley, Street Bob, the Triumph Rocket, Ducati Scrambler, our very own Made in India Royal Enfield Interceptor, Kawasaki Versys and the Benelli TRK. Round of applause please. The white shirt, please move. Yeah, the next one will go off there. Riders, please sit down, take your seats in the front row. Yeah, go for it. Thank you, Sachin, Rishi. All of you, please have your seats.
Thank you, all the superbikers and riders. It was wonderful to have you and the sexy beasts here, all the machines. So, the element of surprise we have been telling you, we have one of the popular bikers as our chief guests today. It's our honor to have them, and I must thank them that they admitted to be part of us today on pro bono. So otherwise they are very busy celebrities, so they took some time out for us exclusively for the PBTB residents. So thanking them, I would like to call our first chief guest, Mr. Bulu Patnaik, to kindly come onto the stage. A big round of applause, please. Mr. Bulu Patnaik, who's fondly called as Bulu Biker, is an ardent bike enthusiast and has been riding for the past 15 years. One of the top biking YouTuber with more than 4 lakhs plus subscribers in YouTube since 2017. And he has completed 5 lakh kilometers on bike, and on average, every year he covers 40,000 kilometers. Recently, he accomplished 4,000 kilometer ride, and just before the show also, he completed a ride and directly came here. So thank you so much, Bulu. And he's also featured one of the chosen bikers for XBHP series Life Begins at 250 Challenge. And he rides and owns motorcycles from 100cc to 1,800cc Goldwing. Something everybody just, dreams for. So thank you so much, Bulu. It's such a pleasure to have you with us. So kindly speak a few words so it would inspire our residents also.
Hello. Yeah. So first of all, I would like to thank everyone who has organized this event and invited me to be a part of it. I think even I also actually stay in a property which is Prestige Lakeside Habitat, but I've never seen such an event on an apartment complex. I'm really proud about you guys. Because usually what I have seen is that not many people like bikers, I guess. I mean, even in a house, if one guy is a biker, I think bikers, because personally I feel bikers are very selfish people. They only think about themselves and their motorcycles and their trips, right? That is one reason I think a lot of people do not like bikers. But here what I see is like entirely different. So many people welcoming bikers, and they are also part of this event. They're enjoying the moment. I saw that they were introducing the bikes. A lot of people are like having that interest of knowing about these motorcycles when they're literally looking at the chart, like what bike is from which place, what cc and all that. I think, see, I will share a small part of it, what bike actually means to me, bikes. See, we all have like different kind of passions in our life, okay? A lot of passions. Some of them are for short period of time, some of them are for long period of time. I remember some time back I met a couple who were about, the husband is about 75-year-old and wife is about 68 or something. And they were at the showroom and they were taking the delivery of their bike. And I happened to be there at that same day. I was literally into tears when I saw him saying that I saw your videos and it inspired me so much. You always say that there is no age to ride a motorcycle. And that actually inspired us. And they are actually doing a long trip on that motorcycle. I was so happy to see, basically, sometimes, like, I think somebody was pointing out what is a ride bike for a ride trip or something. What I understand, what till now at least I have understood after owning so many, I think till now I have owned about 55 plus motorcycles, and starting from, as he said, 100cc motorcycle to bigger motorcycles. What I have understood is it is not the motorcycle that completes or makes you a good rider. It's all about yourself. Who is the rider? What kind of passion he carries? How much time he dedicates? How much love and affection he has for motorcycles, roads, and meeting different people and all that, right? So, as I said, there is no age for motorcycling, right? And sometimes I believe most of the bikers, you guys ride in groups and all, right? One good thing about bikers is that, see, as if you see, there are different segments of bikes. One good thing I like about it, we have Royal Enfield, we have a 310cc BMW GS, and all of them are different. But you all ride together. That is what matters a lot. It doesn't matter what motorcycle you ride, what cc, what not. But you all ride together. And on a ride, especially if you have a small problem or something, if one of the riders stops by, I believe all you guys stop by asking what is wrong with you. Is everything all right or not? That itself is the feeling. And I would like to share one thing, because I am into this adventure touring and all, I do a lot of trips by myself. I do solo trips and group trips and all. In motorcycling, something is said that wherever you look, your motorcycle actually takes you there. So basically, if you look towards left, the motorcycle automatically takes you there. If you look that there is a pothole on the road, and if you look at it, then you will actually jump through the pothole. That I believe a lot of people have experienced it. So basically, people say, when you find a problem on your road, it is better to avoid looking at it and look at something else where there is a way. So basically, that's what connects us in real life as well. We all have problems in our life. So when you see a problem, don't focus on the problem. Rather focus on a solution, and your motorcycle, your life journey will take you there. So that's the thing. I think if you have any questions, maybe
That's
later.
lovely. That's lovely. Thank you so much for those inspiring words. I just have one question, Bulu.
Yes, please.
So, we have so many misconceptions about biking.
Okay.
And one of which is, you should be physically very fit. You should have six packs. You should have muscles. All that. You should have a certain height. You should be like 7 feet tall and all that. I personally, I was thinking that I'm so short, I can't get into biking. That is why men do. Women can't do because we are short. So all these misconceptions are wrong. Definitely, many bikers have proved it is just the strong mental capabilities that they have that drives them. So what is your suggestion?
So I think you said exactly opposite what I am. I mean, no six pack, no height.
You are extremely handsome.
No. I'm just saying it is exactly the opposite. So yes, actually all these things doesn't matter in motorcycling. So if you see me, I ride the tallest motorcycle. Like if you see the Triumph Tiger is the most tallest motorcycle, but I can very nicely ride across this place. I don't have to get down from the motorcycle. I can ride over those pavement and all. So it is all about the connect you have with your motorcycle. It doesn't matter. See, a lot of people have ambition to ride a lot of motorcycle. Your height should not restrict you from riding a particular motorcycle. I do understand one thing, if you have less height, you have to develop more skills. You have to be a little more rider. You have to, see, every day you have to focus that, yesterday I was a rider like this, and today I have to be slightly better than that. You have to focus more on the skill. One thing which I have seen is people actually tend to spend a lot of money on motorcycles, buying riding gears and all, but they don't spend time and money on improving their skills. I would always suggest it is always better to improve skills. Riding, no doubt anyone can do, but if you are a short rider, you definitely have some kind of disadvantage, but that you can actually replace with your skills. So I'm sure you don't need heights. I believe you have seen some videos where people are very short and they ride the tallest motorcycles so fast and so better than others.
Amazing. Thanks a lot. That's lovely. Something really inspires people like me.
Right.
I think, few of the audience, if they have any questions, they can pose. But I think Nivedita had some question. She had hinted me earlier. Nivedita, your best friend.
Nivedita is somewhere there.
Right. Can somebody please pass on the mic there?
So Nivedita is my school friend. So we are like friends for a long time.
We need an extra mic.
It's on. I think it's on.
I'll ask like that. No, I'll ask like that.
Please come. So you noted down the questions, huh?
We'll do a 5 minutes Q&A session. As you are aware, I'm Nivedita of this. And he's
I'm
my
ready for
school
any kind
friend.
of questions.
From past 25 years, we are friends. Okay?
Yes.
Were your most pleasurable ride?
Actually, I've done so many rides and all of them.
One ride. One ride. Quick, 5 seconds.
Okay,
Done?
so the first ride. So I do a lot of trip with my wife. So the first, I think, best ride would be the Kanyakumari to Kashmir, which was a 5,500 kilometers that I did with my wife, and that was the best ride. See, because it is not just about the ride; it is also with the people you travel. Okay, with traveling with your wife is actually the best feeling. So that way you enjoy the trip a lot.
Now 2 choices, wife or bike? Quick, wife or bike? I'll pass this to Milarva also.
No, definitely wife. Otherwise, I know all my bikes will be sold.
And one inspiring story. Because he was into engineering. From being software to biking is a huge jump. So
Right.
why did he choose that?
So, I'll share a small story. It's quite interesting as well. Around 2003, actually, I did a trip. So all of us have passed through the first job, right? When you have a first job and you have a dream to buy a bike. So what happened was, I think we have time for this, just 5 minutes. So I was traveling from Hyderabad to Odisha, my hometown, and it was a very difficult ride because I had a Bajaj Pulsar and I took a lot of effort in buying that motorcycle. Imagine 2003 buying a Pulsar and I spent all my salary on it. Yes. So 50% of my salary I think was the EMI for that bike. I bought it and the first trip was I rode from Hyderabad to Bhubaneswar, which is roughly about 1,000 kilometers in 24 hours. That bike considering being a 150cc motorcycle. At the end of the trip, it was around January and it was a foggy night, around 11:40. I suddenly saw 3 people standing in the middle of the road and they were armed. They had this one gun and one sword and all like that. So they stopped me and they threatened me. So they basically looted my bike. So you just imagine it is the first motorcycle in your life and you face such kind of situation. And I have not informed my parents that I'm riding from, because 2003, if you say that I'm riding through motorcycle, people will say you are crazy. I mean, why do you have to ride a motorcycle when you have train, other modes of transport? So that was very heartbreaking. I gave all my motorcycle, my purse, everything. It was very heartbreaking. Then the bigger challenge was that when I went to explain the police about this incident, they didn't believe that somebody could ride a motorcycle that far and such time and all. That time insurance was a big problem. These days insurance is online, but that time it was all physical thing. So the bike is from Andhra Pradesh, insurance is from Andhra Pradesh, and Odisha I have to file the complaint. It was very hectic, and it was first motorcycle of my life. I don't know what kind of feeling I had. But inside me, always that motorcycle thing was there. One thing I understood from there, okay, these guys have stolen my motorcycle, they will not steal my luck. I promised that day, whatever motorcycle I want to buy in my life, I'll buy.
Amazing.
And that I had been doing till now. So the last motorcycle that I bought was the Goldwing. Obviously, it is one of the most expensive motorcycle. You can say, as on date, if you want to buy a Goldwing, it costs about 55 lakhs. So what I believe that day I have given my bike, but today I have all the motorcycles that I like on my garage. So I feel we all have such kind of situations in our life, but never give up, never break down. Just have that patience. Just think that, that's just a past part of your journey. Right. If that would have not happened, I'm sure I wouldn't have this Goldwing now. Maybe I would have been riding some small bike or something, or maybe I wouldn't have ride also. Right. So I think that is something I would like
great.
to share.
This is something lovely because, passion and grit at the end of the day takes us ahead. That's what Bulu has shown us. We have Mr. Sridhar who would like to ask you a question.
Hi,
I
sir,
must
please.
say about Sridhar, he's the oldest person who is riding, who's always growing younger, by the way.
He
So,
is the youngest person, sir.
Bulu Boy.
Yes, sir.
Bulu Boy is, I'm a big fan of Mr. Bulu Patnaik. We call him Bulu Boy. And he's one of the greatest, tourers, adventurers, and rider, okay?
Right, sir.
So, I have a question. As you are aware, worldwide, or especially in India, right, the biking community, irrespective of the age,
Right.
it's just growing. Like the age is growing,
Right.
biking community is growing
growing.
also. So I would like to know from you, what are your advice for the people in their 40s, 50s, the new 60s or maybe the 70s? Because this crowd, which is in their 40s or maybe 30s, 40s now, in a few years going to become, 50s, 60s.
Right.
So a valuable advice from you would be really helpful.
Sir, I believe, see, sir, biking, consider, sir, I mean, like keeping aside the biking things, sir, the first thing that I do personally, doesn't matter the age, is taking care of yourself first, sir. You have to take care of mind and heart, both of the things. For example, if you have a fight at your home, I would suggest not to ride. A lot of people think that I have a fight at my home, I could take my motorcycle and have a good time. I don't think that's a good way of doing it. Because see, your mind has to always be cool to ride a motorcycle. You have to focus on the road. You shouldn't think about something and ride your motorcycle.
Absolutely.
So that's one thing. And second thing is that, sir, a lot of people I see that they skip breakfast. So these are very small things. You should not skip breakfast and all.
Right.
Motorcycling is all about enjoyment. So I had been to Nepal on a trip.
Yes.
There is this friend of mine who joins me. He happens to be the vice president of a company.
Yes.
And I'm sure he might be passing through a lot of pressure in his regular job life. So his life is like very hurry. Like, let's say, I say that tomorrow we'll ride at 5. He wakes up at 4:30. Bole bhai, let's go ready. Let's get ready.
Rush.
Let's put this aside. Let's put this aside. One day I observed this. I understood this is a problem actually.
Absolutely.
Then I said the simple thing. You see, you have stress at your work and you are riding because you want to relieve those stress and you want to enjoy your life.
Exactly.
You want to have a good time.
Exactly.
What if you take the same kind of stress in your biking trips?
Exactly.
Then what is the point? Right.
Right,
So you have to cool. That is the thing. Rest, sir, as on that, the age thing actually doesn't matter. It is just that number, as everyone knows. With biking, nothing matters a lot. But as I said, sir, you have to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Right.
food and all is something, it's a very small thing, but people should not avoid it. See, a lot of people on long trips, I see that people, what they do is, they say, okay, this is not a good place to have breakfast, let's go ahead on a long trip.
Right.
That's a wrong way of doing it. You never know on a long trip if you find a better place or not.
Correct.
So better if you have something, just get something, have it and go.
Absolutely.
thanks a lot.
Thank
Thanks
you
a
so
lot,
much.
sir. That
Thank you
was
so much.
amazing. Bulu, I request you to kindly stay back. Thank you so much, Mr. Sridhar. So, over to you, Karthik. I would like you to.
Yes.
Maybe he can stay back so that we can have the photographs. Okay. Sir, if in that case, kindly take your seat and we will call you again on the stage.
Our next guest, ladies and gentlemen, is not only a professional rider who's inspired many biking aspirants across our country, and of course breaking the massive gender stereotype and the glass ceiling. She's also, and she just told me this afternoon, she's also a gold medalist in cycling, all the way from UP, the state of UP. Right? She's a TEDx speaker, has covered more than 25 states, and here's the best part. Right? Despite having about 7, 8, 10, many significant injuries while she was riding in the Spiti Valley, Pooja actually recovered and was bike to active backing and touring within 26 days. She holds an MBA from the University of Delhi, is a sports and fitness enthusiast and trainer, and she also has been the president of the Karnataka chapter for United Nations Human Rights Development and runs a foundation which works for women's empowerment across the country. Please put your hands together and welcome Ms. Pooja Bagamane. Thank you, Pooja, for joining us. Thank you, Advait.
Hi guys, what's up? How are you doing? I can see a lot of girls out here. You are girls, right? Of course you are. How are you doing, girls?
You already look so high on energy. Can I hear once more? How are you doing? Yes, that's what I like. There has to be energy in everything you put in any single element of your life. So, thank you so much, PBTB, for inviting me here. Thanks a lot. It's an honor for me to share my story and to inspire the women, the girls, and of course, the little kids out here, because they are the future of our country. So, my name is Pooja Bajaj. As you can see, I've started riding when I was in class 8 standard. And that was not a bike. That was a scooter, which is Bajaj Chetak. अच्छा ये छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं ना बच्चे हो अच्छा कितने सारे बच्चे सब हाथ खड़ा करो जरा प्लीज एवरीबडी पुट योर हैंड्स अप छोटे छोटे बच्चे हाथ खड़ा करो जल्दी से अब हाथ नीचे करो और ध्यान से सुनो Put your hands down and listen to me, okay? I'm telling you very important things. बहुत मजा आने वाला है स्टोरी में बहुत ज़्यादा एडवेंचर है इसमें So I started to ride Bajaj Chetak when I was in 8th standard. 13 years. मेरे पैर भी नहीं पहुंचते थे स्कूटर पे बट मुझे चलाना था बिकॉज एक emergency situation आई थी मेरे घर में I will call all the kids here. I really love kids. No, it's okay. I can manage. Okay. Oh, kids are coming. Come. I want all the kids to come here. Come. Please sit down here if you come here. Make a line and come here. And when you are on the stage, you cannot talk. Please sit down. Everyone sit down. और अब अगर किसी ने बात करी तो उसको डांस करना पड़ेगा
There are a lot of grown-ups who are not, necessarily
Yes.
keeping quiet. Are you going to
So
make them dance
now
as well?
everybody will going to put a finger on their lips, okay? Thank you for taking my space. चलो, बढ़िया, सब सेट है? Okay. अभी यहाँ पे कोई बात नहीं करेगा, मुझे बिल्कुल शांति चाहिए. If anybody will talk, they have to dance. नहीं, but बाद में करना. पहले मैं बोल लूँ फिर बात करना. Okay, where was I? 8th standard Chetak. So I started to ride when I was in my 8th standard Chetak. I was around say 30-32 kgs at that point of time. But I had to ride because there was an emergency at my place where I had to take my mom to the hospital. And there was nobody to take her to the hospital. So only at that point of time I realized that as a girl, I should be responsible enough to handle any kind of a family emergency. I should be self-independent. I moved from Lucknow to Delhi. And when I moved there, I got an attention of the bikes. The first bike which I rode was an RX 100. I'm sure a lot of people would know. It's a 2-stroke engine. You would know it, of course. So that was the first bike which I rode. So coming from a middle-class family, I used to not have any money, and it was very difficult for me to ask my parents to give me money. So I thought, ki bhai kya kare? So I started to earn towards it. So whatever skills I knew at that point of time, I started to monetize it. And by the end of first year, or first 1.5 year, I got an amount of around 55,000, which was enough for me to buy a Pulsar, a Bajaj Pulsar 180. Now when I got that bike, I thought, ki, okay, now I should start exploring. So after that, that was the point of time my biking journey started. I started with group rides, got my confidence, and later moved into solo rides. So basically, I am a solo motorcyclist. So I ride solo. You know, when I say I ride solo, what does it mean? You gotta be really brave. And how do you become brave? Is something which I would like to talk to you about. Bravery is not something which you are born with. Bravery is something which you need to work upon. For example, defense skills. I've been trained in blue belt in martial arts. I'd learned boxing. I've been into NCC for 3 years. I've got C certificate. I got selected in CDS. So all these things had made me very strong and very self-independent to an extent that I could go for solo rides. All right? So with the Pulsar as a first bike, I started and I did Ladakh twice. All right? Now in June, so far, I have covered 25 states as a solo motorcyclist. Okay? Thank you. Even you can do that, I'm sure. It's not a big deal. So in June 2019, my thirst of adventure took me to Spiti Valley. All right? It was a 12-day ride, and when I was just about to reach my last destination, an accident happened, a life-threatening accident at 14,000 feet. In that accident, my entire collarbone got crushed into multiple pieces, had multiple dislocations of my right shoulder, and bone fragment got stuck into the thoracic region, which is just above the chest. Had it been 0.001 mm down, I would have been choked to death. And I was at a place where there was no medical facility, no medical backup, no airlift, with a bad weather. It took me almost 4 days from that particular point to reach Chandigarh. So when I reached Chandigarh, which was also a very bad journey, just on Combi Flame and Crocin, which of course didn't work with this kind of an injury. So when I reached Chandigarh, the doctor was not sure enough to handle my case. So I had no option but to fly down to Bangalore. So finally, my surgery happened on the 6th day. 6 days of intense trauma, excrucious pain, and a lot of vomits and all these things which comes along with it. So after the surgery, of course, my surgery was very long. It was complicated because of the delayed treatment. I was being told by the doctors that it will going to take at least an year, or sometimes it's not even a possibility to be back on road, because a lot of people go to PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and these are the very common symptoms of any kind of a trauma. All right? So from no option of coming back or to a 1-year option of coming back, I was left with how many options? No options, to be honest. So when I came back home, on the 4th day, I dragged myself to the gym. I was not in a position, but I just dragged myself in the gym. And I looked myself in the mirror and just asked myself, with my upper body part not even moving at all, and I said, what is something which I can do with my body? So I said, okay, my lower body part is working. So I just, okay, let me just push and just do 2 squat and 3 squat. That is it. That is all I did. But for me, going to the gym that particular day and looking myself in the mirror and doing that 2 and 3 squat was a huge motivation for me. That means I have not given up, by the way. So after doctor told me that forget it, you just cannot ride it. When I came back home, the bike keys were taken by my mom, and all these things, negativity starts coming in. So what do you think what happened next? So I got back to motorcycle in just 26 days. in just 26 days. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The reason is because my love for these machines is beyond imagination. I love it. And for me, I cannot even think of not riding at all. Now, with all these things, of course, there were few challenges here and there. And generally, I just want to tell you one thing. The longer you take in any kind of an accident, the more difficult it is to come back. So if you have an accident, just come out of it as soon as you can, instead of staying in that accident and thinking the negativity around it. So for all these things, what is important is a growth mindset, a resilience mindset. And what it is, for that you have to go to my TED Talk and listen to the entire story that how I came back. It was just not the passion for the bikes, it was something else. What was something else, for that you have to go and listen to my talk, because I have a limited time here. I wish I could have talked more on these topics, which is about a resilience mindset and a growth mindset, and how you can build a never give up attitude. So today, as I'm standing here, I've been working religiously for the road safety campaigns across Bangalore and across India. Why? Because I know every life matters, and sometimes people are not lucky to get that help on the road, because accidents will going to happen. You cannot avoid accidents. So that is it. So I'm sure my story has not scared you, but has given you some kind of an inspiration to an extent that you should have a passion in your life and you should be dedicated about it. And the passion should be from your heart. It should not be like आधा अधूरा passion. आधा अधूरा passion तो फिर passion नहीं होता है, फिर तो कुछ और होता है. And I would really request all the men who are sitting out here to tell all the ladies out here to go and explore the world on the bikes. Could be scooty, could be bikes, could be anything. It's time that you should explore the world and figure it out.
Thank you,
That's
Pooja.
it. Thank you so much.
That was really, really inspiring. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That was truly inspiring story there from Pooja. Thank you. And kids, you can please go back and take your seats with your parents.
Thank you, kids. You were very nice for letting me talk.
Full, not आधा अधूरा.
Achha, very good, very nice.
Okay, we'll save that for the Q&A, my friend. 2 minutes. All right. So, Pooja, in the interest of time, just have a couple of questions that we'd like to ask you.
Sure.
You spoke of the road safety campaign, and that's a topic that you've spoken widely in your TEDx talks as well.
Yes.
Maybe very briefly, what's your involvement like in the road safety campaigns?
So, first of all, safety is very important if you are on the road. Even if you're sitting in the car, driving out, or you're taking a motorcycle, if you're in the car, make sure you're wearing the seat belt. And if you're riding a motorcycle, please make sure you're wearing a helmet. A good quality helmet is something which is highly recommendable. And of course, the safety gears is something which I would want you to wear it if you're going for a longer ride, say 100 kilometers or before, and after that. Safety gears is something, and then start early, finish off early if you are riding solo, because it's always good to be back before the sunset.
Perfect. And these are themes that we're hearing from Bulu Biker and the rest of our chief guests
All
as
the
well.
riders
Last
stress on
question,
that.
and we'll let you go after this. You obviously are a massive influencer on various social channels. But on Insta, what's the weirdest thing you've done, if you don't mind sharing with us?
Okay, the weirdest thing, Bulu, no, I just want to tell you something. So the weirdest thing I've done on Insta was when I shifted from Mumbai to Bangalore, I had some around, I had not even joined Insta at that point of time. And I was so fascinated by Bulu Patnaik. And because he was very huge, he is still very huge, he was very huge on Instagram. So I said, मुझे ना इनके जैसा बनना है, मतलब इतने सारे फॉलोअर्स, मतलब ये कहाँ से आते हैं, कौन होते हैं, मेरे पास तो सिर्फ 20-25 थे उस टाइम पे, now I've got 15,000. So then I thought कि let me play some kind of a prank on him. And I said, you know what, मुझे ना बाइक चलानी नहीं आती, आप मुझे बाइक सिखाएंगे. I thought शायद, maybe तरस आ जाए, शायद, मिल ले, ऐसे करके सिखा दे, and I'll get a chance to meet him so that he can, मतलब हाथ रख दे सिर पे, ऐसे करके कुछ. So that was one of the things. And after that, I tried to, reach him through 2-3 events, जहाँ पे मैंने उनको बोला था. But again, he's a very busy guy, and he was quite unreachable. So मैंने starting मुझे याद है मैंने बोला था मुझे बाइक चलानी नहीं आती, मुझे बाइक सिखाना चाहेंगे. He was like, आप एवेंजर चला लो, आप बजाज चला लो. I was like, okay, so this is not working, right? So something around that happened. And it's today that I get a chance to meet this personality. He's absolutely humble guy, so grounded, and we all have so many things to learn from him. So guys, you should always appreciate these kind of people who are grounded, who are humbled, and that's how you grow
Thank
in
you.
life.
We at PBTB Moto Mania will take some credit for the fact that you finally get to meet your idol.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
we made this happen.
Yo, absolutely, absolutely.
All right. Thank you,
Any
Pooja.
other
Thank you
questions?
so much for joining us.
Any
No,
other
I think
questions?
we'll hold the
You're
rest
done?
off for now.
All right.
Thanks a lot for joining
Thank you so
us.
much.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful to have Pooja, especially the foundation that she's running that is exclusively for women to aspire for riding and biking hobby. So anybody can get in touch with her. Those mothers who they want to be themselves, or mothers want their girl children to be the bikers. So kindly get in touch with her.